Natalie, the relationship coach, will be sharing some tips on how to not divorce your husband or your partner during these next few weeks. So I just saw it on my WhatsApp group. I haven't seen it on the news. I don't know how factual this is, but I just heard that they've extended the lockdown until April 15th. So this will really be uh, an opportunity to see how strong your relationship is. Because I was actually just today, coincidentally, I read an article that was saying how they did a study of how after a year after there was a hurricane, there was a spike in divorces as well as a spike in marriages and in pregnancies. But because, it's like one of those really high pressure, intense situations where people really, the relationships are really put to the test, right? So the idea of today is to kind of just like, if you're already kind of starting to feel that pressure with your partner, Natalie's going to share with us some tips so that you are one of those relationships that make it past this quarantine or this lockdown. Okay. So I'm going to bring her on and yeah. So Natalie is a relationship coach, and she's based in Madrid as well. So hi.
Hi Denise, thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming on.
So
Yeah.
I've put together 5 tips that I think could be helpful for everyone during this, as you said, very intense moment that we're living through right now. So I'm just
Yeah.
gonna dive straight in. So
Yeah.
the first one I think is to reframe this situation that we're in right now. So I know it can be so tempting to think about this as we just need to survive the next few weeks and everybody
Mhm.
kind of goes into survival mode. Instead, I think we can reframe it in a more positive and productive way and say, this is an amazing opportunity to reconnect with my
Mhm.
partner. Like, usually we're here, there, everywhere. He's at work, then I come back, and then he's
Yeah.
out, or weekend activities, and we try and
Yeah.
fit date night in there somewhere. And now we have this amazing opportunity where
Yeah.
we can actually be together for this time for this time. So I think just reframing it in that way, and
Mhm.
instead of thinking like,
Mhm.
oh God, I have to survive this time with my partner, thinking this is actually a beautiful moment that we're going to get to connect with each
Yeah.
other. So I
Yeah.
think even just starting with that is going to help us
Yeah.
be able to see this in a more positive light.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Um,
really good because like I have the same. I did like the reframe with my kids where it's like I'm so excited to spend all this time with my kids, and then I realized like okay, this is like they officially day 2 of the lockdown, and I'm like I haven't really reconnected with my partner. I haven't like I've done lots of like kid time, but yeah, it's nice to be reminded like yeah, not just to connect with your kids, but to connect with your partner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like I love that you can add in all these things because, like I said, like I'm not a parent yet,
Hmm.
so it will be super interesting how that dynamic
Yeah.
works, where you have not only partner time and not only you with the kid time, but also you
Hmm.
and the partner and the kids. So yeah, there's more to navigate there for sure.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
love that you've already done the reframe with your kids. So
Yeah.
now, like maybe this could be step 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so the second thing that I think we can think about is that it's still important to have alone time. So obviously,
Hmm.
I've just said, this is a great opportunity to connect again with our partners, but at the same time, we do need to remember that it is okay to have alone time, and not just okay, it is healthy, especially for the amount of
Yeah.
time that we're talking about now. It's not just a couple of days, like we're talking now, at least 2 weeks, if not more, like you just said, sounds like it's going to be
Yeah.
more. So alone time is going to be super important, and I think for some people it's easier than for other people. Like I might be saying this now and some people are like, yeah, that's super easy, I'm good with that. But for some people, when that person is actually physically in the space but
Hmm.
not necessarily like connecting with you, sometimes it can be a little bit triggering and it can feel a little bit like a rejection. But let's just remember that we all need a bit of space every now and again,
Hmm.
and it's more about the quality of the connection rather than
Yeah.
just being around each other the whole time in the same room, even maybe, but
Hmm.
without connecting. It's actually better to like connect for a little bit, and then maybe someone goes to the bedroom, does their thing, watches something else, and like you can stay in the living room, or
Yeah.
depends on your apartment, obviously. For those who live in a studio apartment, I feel you, but stick with it, you know. Some people can have headphones and someone can have headphones on the other side of the sofa or whatever. But I think the main thing that I want to say is just to understand that people do need their alone time as well, and don't take it personally if your partner says, and they might not know how to communicate this in the nicest way, maybe, and maybe they're just like, can you just go and do something else? That's not the nicest way to say it, but we can take it as like, okay, they just need a little bit of time. Let me take this time for myself and decide, how I want to spend it and what's going to bring something for me. Obviously, for your audience who have kids, then I can't even imagine how busy it is. I'm sure that in that moment that you're like, some time for myself, the kids are like, hey. So maybe this is more in the evening or something, but I think it's important to have a balance of both things.
No, I think it's even more important. Well, it's equally important at the very least, even if you do have kids, to find that alone time.
Yeah. I'm glad you agree. Okay, so the third thing that I've written down is that we should include some play. So playtime, and that might sound weird in the context of our relationship, because obviously for parents, like, we know what playtime is when we're playing with kids. But do we still play with our partners? And this is the perfect time to do this, because listen, we might be worrying economically at the moment. We might have other types of pressures going on. Like, I'm not going to deny that. We do have that. However, what we don't have is control right now of the situation. So I think it's a point where you just come to the acceptance and you're like, this is what it is. So the only place that I can be right now is here. The only moment that I can live in right now is the present moment. What's coming in the future will come. And for sure, there will be, probably difficult moments and difficult decisions that are going to come for us in the future, especially people who are small business owners or freelancers like we are. It's going to be tough. However, right now, all we can do is just try and enjoy this moment. So I think allowing for that space with our partner to actually say, okay, can we put these other things aside, the adulting aside? We're going to have to deal with that anyway. So can we make a little bit of space right now to just play, just be together? It can be anything. This is so individual for the couple, but maybe put on those songs that you used to dance to, like when you first met. Maybe it's, or like, sing some songs that you used to sing when you were driving around in the car and it was all new and exciting. There's so many different things. Maybe it's even just like, for some people, getting physically intimate again. This is an amazing that as well, and get playful together again. It doesn't have to be about reaching an end goal. It can just be about, let's just spend some time, like physical time together, like touching. So it really is going to depend on the couple, how they feel most comfortable and excited to connect with their partner. But I think that play is a really important part in any relationship.
Yeah, I'm happy you said that, because before we went live, we went really quickly through these, and I was telling Natalie how I do play a lot with my kids, and then I just realized I don't really play with my husband. And then I was like, but how am I supposed to play with him? So I'm happy that you gave like some examples as well, because I'm like, okay, we're not, like, I kind of know what to do. So yeah.
Like I said, it's weird, especially when you have kids, I think, because play is so much associated with that. So you're like, what am I supposed to do? Like, get out the Lego with my husband kind of thing. But it's more just like a mindset thing rather than an activity thing, I think. Even just like being silly, or even maybe just, it depends on the relationship, but even just like cooking a meal together or something, and just, being a little bit, I don't know, playful with that. Exactly.
Okay.
So next one, I think this is an important one, which is, don't argue about arguing. And I think especially in this intense situation that we're in right now, I think with this one, it can be easier to avoid when you don't spend as much time together. But inevitably, in the situation that we're living right now, where we're not able to just spend time together when we're in our good moment. So it's not date night. This whole 2 weeks, it's not date night. We might not be bringing our best selves to the house, home, whatever, at all hours. Like, that's completely normal. So I think it's first of all just being accepting of that, at some point one person might be a little bit more grumpy than the other person, or one person's a little bit more tired than the other person, and just accepting that. And then within that, if there are little arguments or things that you don't agree on, not making it into a bigger thing by thinking like, this is so bad that we're arguing and we're gonna have to be together for another 2 weeks and this is terrible, and like blowing it out of proportion. It's completely normal that we're going to argue about things. Like 2 weeks is super intense. And if you think about it, sometimes we can be like, oh, like he's so annoying, he does this or he does that, whatever. But I think with anyone, even if we were living with like our best friend or our mother or whoever it is, this is a very intense situation for any two human beings to be in together. So I think just keeping realistic expectations about that, and just thinking, okay, listen, if we do argue about something, it's fine. And then each couple will know whatever works best for them. Some people need to take, a bit of space apart. Some people are just want to like kind of hash it out there and then. Some people do a little bit of both of those things. But I think the main thing is to keep the focus on finding a solution to whatever the discussion is about, and not redirecting into this whole thing of like, oh, we shouldn't be arguing, this is so bad, like what a waste of time, and kind of just taking it away from the whole point, which is to find a solution together.
So it's kind of like remembering that it's okay to disagree, and then to just kind of like focus on the solution. Right? It's like it's okay for you to think this way, I think this way. And then just like knowing this, well, then what can we do about it?
Exactly. That's exactly it. And sometimes there is no perfect solution. But again, just being able to even accept that and just be like, okay, right now we can't find an agreement. Let's just, carry on with the day and try and have a good day. It's not saying it's always going to be perfect, but it's just not spiraling down into this like, oh, it's so annoying that you have to bring this up, and I just wanted to have a good day, and now you said this, and you know how it goes. Like, we all know. We've all had those types of conversations at some point. But I think especially now, just being really aware of those things when they come in and trying to say, no, let's stay on the point and keep everything in perspective. So the last thing that I think is a great opportunity, actually, more than anything, is the possibility now to realign with our partners. So what I mean by realignment is to obviously connect again, but connect with a vision for the future, a shared vision for the future, which obviously we have because we're in, long-term relationships, I'm assuming. Although if you're stuck with someone who you've just started dating, that is a whole other thing, and I really wish you good luck. And if you get through this, that is testament to the fact
that's the marriage. That's or the pregnancy.
One of my friends is actually going through that right now, and I'm just like, stay strong, stay strong. But for most of us who are in long-term relationships, then we usually have a shared vision of the future. Because we've decided to get married, or you've decided maybe you already live together, maybe you already have kids together, etc., etc. But I think when we actually take time to sit down and be like, where do you see us being in 5 years? Like, where do you see you being? Where do you see me being? What are we working towards? And this is just such an amazing opportunity to do that. We have time, we have a little bit of headspace. It's not that we're coming back from work every day absolutely swamped and exhausted. There is a little bit more, I think, mental space to create this vision and realignment, and make sure that we're both on a similar path for the future. Obviously it doesn't have to be exactly the same, because each person in a couple, it's important to have your own things as well, but just making sure that it's heading in a similar direction.
It's like a chance to kind of like touch base again.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Okay.
And some people like to do, specific goals and things. I mean, that's something that we do. Like, every couple is different, but me and my partner, we always, at the beginning of every year, we do like our goals for the year individually and also as a couple. And then we usually check in at 6 months, but we're actually checking in now, even though it's only March. But we're like, well, we have all this time. Like,
it's been an intense 2020.
So, if that works for you and you think it's something that might be useful, sometimes when we write things down, they're much more likely to manifest. But as I said, it depends for each couple. But either way, even just bringing up the conversation of how are we feeling about the next 3-5 years together, and are we, on the same path?
Yeah, so it's kind of also because like it's kind of like think past the next few weeks, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's so true, but it's so important. Like, there is life after what's
Yeah.
going on right now. There's plenty of life that we're going to live and enjoy. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I think I didn't actually think about that, but it's such a good point. Just keeping the
Yeah.
focus on what's coming after, because, you
Yeah.
know, this is temporary.
Yeah. It is. It's long temporary, but it is temporary. Okay. Could you quickly just go through the 5 steps again? Just kind of
Sure,
like a
of course.
review. Just
Yes. So the first one was to reframe.
hmm.
So shifting from survival mode into connection mode.
Hmm.
The second one was to have alone time without getting kind of offended by that separateness,
Yeah.
and finding the balance that works for you and your partner. The
Hmm.
third one was to get playful with your partner
Hmm.
in whatever way works best for you. And the fourth one was to not argue about arguing. And then the last one that we just talked about was to realign.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for coming
Pleasure.
online. Just so everyone knows, again, Natalie is a relationship coach and she works online. So if you are kind of feeling the stress, or even if you're not and you just want to do like preventative, whatever the word is, like action, feel
Yeah.
free to send her a message in the video description. I will put her website as well as her YouTube channel. So you can just contact her through there, right? Did I miss anything?
Yeah, yeah, no, that's right. So I do online, but I also do
Hmm.
offline. So if you are in Madrid, obviously that's only for people in Madrid. Like, I
Yeah.
do offline sessions as well. I do group sessions,
Oh.
and it's for people in relationships, but also people who are looking to attract relationships.
Hmm.
So I work with all of that kind of
Yeah.
different
Okay.
stuff. But yeah, YouTube, my website, and then I'll put my email address if people want to
Hmm.
come directly.
Okay. Perfect. Well,
Thank you
thank
so
you so
much.
much. Thank
Lovely to
you.
chat to you.
Yeah. Okay. I will remove you once I figure out how. There. Sorry. Okay. So again, that was Natalie. I hope you enjoyed the tips that she gave. I know that I did, and I'm actually really looking forward to going through well, like not like a to-do list, but to applying them, not just to the next few weeks, but to the rest of our lives. And so yeah, I hope the same for you, and I wish you all the best, and I'll see you tomorrow again at 6:30. Bye.